The Saab Defense JAS-39 Gripen has emerged as the winner in the Philippine Air Force's multi-role fighter acquisition program. Some have expressed happiness that the last project that started at the opening of the AFP's Horizon 2 modernization program in 2018 has already reached its final phase. While Saab will do its best to meet the numbers, the multi-role fighter requirement can be met efficiently by two companies in a competition where one can provide good services to the Philippine Air Force. The D&D document states that the project is only contingent on the ratification of the Mutual of Understanding signed between the Swedish and Philippine governments last June. Some information indicates that the last details are also being handled now. This is to ensure that the Philippine Air Force Gripen will be handled smoothly from the time it is introduced to the services of the Philippine Air Force and in its efficient operations. 3 or 4 squadrons of Gripen and F-16 multi-role fighter jets for the Philippine Air Force. The Philippine Air Force aims to have at least 3 or 4 multi-role fighter squadrons after 2030 and another 2 or 3 light fighter squadrons. If the budget for the multi-role fighter acquisition program is to be used for Saab's Gripen, how can the cash-strapped Philippine government acquire and maintain the F-16 Fighting Falcon? There are already negotiations for the aircraft, although it is not known if Lockheed Martin's bid will be selected for the acquisition of the multi-role fighter. However, whatever arrangements have been made for how this could happen in the future and whether Lockheed Martin will bag the project or not, the Philippine Air Force will still use its Fighting Falcon in collaboration with the Gripens. And it is also a common practice in air forces around the world to have 2 types of combat platforms. The important thing for the Philippine Air Force is to have their multi-role fighters and more aircraft they can use in less time. With the ongoing geopolitical situation in the region, urgency is vital and we can't afford to be picky about the variants we can have. A lot of possibilities and arrangements can be made, and we believe the Philippines and the United States governments can do it. And not only with the United States but with other friendly countries and allies that are willing to assist the Philippine government in its aim to modernize its armed forces. Earlier, the Philippine Air Force was offered 2 squadrons of pre-owned F-16s from a European country that will be retiring its F-16s as they are now acquiring F-35 Lightning II fighters. This information came from a Senate National Defense Committee hearing and was relayed by Senate President Miguel Zubiri. Zubiri stated that there was an offer from a European member state offering 2 squadrons of pre-loved F-16s as the country is in the process of retiring their F-16s as they are now acquiring F-35 Lightning II fighters. The amount required to own 2 F-16 squadrons is already equivalent to buying 4 new F-16s alone. This acquisition will also include all spare parts, necessary training, and even simulators that will be useful to the Philippine Air Force. With such a low and affordable price, will this acquisition project go ahead? Unfortunately, the very attractive offer was not taken up by the AFP and D&D, as they argue that the current Procurement Act and the revised AFP Modernization Act prohibit the acquisition of second-hand or used items from friendly countries. There is a reluctance for the Philippine government to take possession of second-hand goods, which may be dictated by the laws governing the country. The question of why the additional Cyclone-class ships are in full swing and the ships will now be inducted into the Philippine Naval Service just months after being decommissioned by the United States Navy.